So who's your favorite artist? Are you a Swiftie, a Barb, or the kind of person who wouldn't be caught dead without their Jimmy Buffett Margaritaville Crocs? Think carefully, because in Amazon Prime's new show, the answer could cost you your life. And let's face it, you can't run far in those Crocs. Find out how getting rejected from acting school, strict self-care routines, French erotica, and a special connection to Beyoncé helped Dominique Fishback kill it in Swarm. We'll also tell you why Donald Glover was nervous to offer her the part and how Slim Shady comes into play. But first, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for the latest behind-the-scenes looks at your favorite movies and TV. As always, spoilers ahead. Swarm was created by Donald Glover and showrunner Janine Nabers, who is also a writer and producer on Atlanta. The limited series tells the story of Dre, a woman who takes her obsession with the fictional pop star Nyjah to dangerous new levels. It's a story that's as much about celebrity and stan culture as it is about grief and trauma. Nabers says the Swarm takes place in an alternate reality where Nyjah exists instead of Beyoncé, and a keen eye can see Bayhive references and musically significant cameos in every episode. Cameos like Michael Jackson's daughter Paris.
You're black?
Yeah, my dad's half.
Half what?
Billie Eilish and Chole Bailey, who plays Dre's bestie Marissa on the show when she's not being monitored by the actual Beyoncé in real life. Oh, also, Swarm is Malia Obama's first staff writing position. This cast and crew was already stacked with talent. They just needed to find their star, which is where Dominique Fishback comes in. Fishback was born and raised in New York, and her acting ambitions started at a very early age. She applied to the prestigious LaGuardia Performing Arts High School and was rejected almost immediately. According to Fishback, one teacher told her that she didn't have the it factor, but Fishback took that in stride and honed her skills in local productions, her own off-Broadway show where she played 22 characters, and eventually scene-stealing roles in The Deuce and Judas and the Black Messiah. In fact, these performances showed so much it factor that Donald Glover and Janine Nabers were almost scared to offer her a part in Swarm because they thought she might be too busy to do a TV show. Still, they took a chance and asked her to read for the role of Marissa. Nabers and Glover thought this part aligned nicely with the sweet characters Fishback had played in the past, but Fishback had other ideas.
I want to be a versatile actor, and what does that mean? And I have to go to the inner child who wanted to be an actor, who watched Monster with Charlize Theron, or watched Boys Don't Cry with Hilary Swank, or watched Heath Ledger as a Joker, or whatever it is, and wanting to do character work, and finally being able to get the opportunity to do that was exciting.
They were so impressed by her willingness to take such a complex, potentially unlikable role that they hired her on the spot. Next, the hard work of turning Dominique into a cold-blooded serial killer began. Fishback was already uniquely qualified to join the Swarm universe. For one thing, she'd already played Jay-Z's mom in a music video, making her only a few degrees of separation away from the real Queen Bee. She also spent her childhood memorizing the lyrics to the Eminem song Stan, which tells the story of a crazed superfan and originates the term we all use today. To further prepare for her role of Dre, Donald Glover made her watch the French erotica The Piano Teacher. This cult hit revolves around an obsessive relationship that leads to dark places, a vibe that definitely informs the character of Dre. Fishback says that the Swarm scripts were extremely sparse when it came to describing Dre's motivation, meaning she had to fill in a lot of the blanks herself. In a slightly controversial quote from a Vulture interview, Glover explains his suggested approach to the character. You don't have to find the humanity in your character. That's the audience's job. Think of it more like an animal and less like a person. He goes on to say, actors in general, they want to get layered performances, and I don't think Dre is that layered. But it's hard to look at how well Fishback inhabits this role and not see a performance that goes deep. In an interview with Pitchfork, Fishback says, I could have played Dre completely dark, and it would have been hard to care about her. Or I could be myself and bring my light to a character that we may not understand otherwise. She also insisted on an executive producer role. This gave her a voice in the editing room so that she could make sure all of her character's nuances made it onto the screen. Fishback's usual process for getting into the role includes writing a full journal and character, but she decided that Dre wasn't the Dear Diary type. Instead, she kept a photo of her 10-year-old self clipped to every script. This kept her in touch with the younger version of herself who used to dream of meaty roles like this one. Isn't it every little's dream to beat someone to death with a salt lamp? The days when Dre had to confront her victims were incredibly taxing. Often, the practical effects and choreography were so difficult to set up that the scene had to be done in only one take. That, on top of the emotional toll of pretending to murder people, led Fishback to call in reinforcements. In addition to hiring on-set therapists, Fishback also invited her closest high school friends to pray with her before shooting the death scenes. High school friends. Sometimes they slide into your DMs asking you to join their multi-level marketing schemes, and sometimes they make you watch while they kill someone on TV. Either way, the reunion is gonna be interesting. Strange as it may be for a role with so much gore, Dominique Fishback's approach to her Swarm character is defined by self-care and self-advocacy. She raised her hand and scored a role that actively played against her type. She asked for a job making creative decisions for the series, and she made sure that her mental, physical, and emotional health were tended to every step of the way. And the self-care continued when the cameras stopped rolling. Fishback took a 6-month break after Swarm to recover from the intensity of the role. That instinct towards self-preservation, along with raw talent and an undeniable it factor, makes us think that Dominique Fishback is going to continue wowing us for years to come, though the actress admits that she'd really love to do a comedy next. So what do you think? Was Dre's character in Swarm all animal instincts, or a misunderstood soul who really wanted to be in the pit? Tell us that and what actor's process you'd like us to cover in the comments below.